So let me ask you, you're obviously a brain center, a nerve center of the National Football League. I mean, you got your fingertips on everything in terms of storylines. What are some of the storylines around the league that have you perked up a little bit? Where's your antenna raised?
Well, here's one right off the bat. There's two teams in the NFC that I think the teams. I mean, we know Tampa's good. We know the Rams are going to be pretty good. I know the Packers are going to be pretty good, even though, we'll see how life without Devontae Adams and everything there goes. But I still think they're going to be in the playoffs. There's two teams in the NFC that I just look at and go, the rosters are phenomenal. And again, it's a team sport here. I know we've made it all about the quarterback all the time now, and the quarterback certainly helps.
Yep.
But, we saw Nick Foles go to the Super Bowl. I've seen Blake Bortles go to the AFC Championship game. I've seen Case Keenum go to the AFC Championship game. So you can have Jimmy Garoppolo is not a top 15 quarterback in football, in my opinion, and he's been to the NFC Championship game and a Super Bowl and was up by 10, So it's a team sport. But the 49ers and the Eagles, I just look at those two teams and go, gosh damn, is there anybody that's just not a stud on their team? They got studs everywhere, but got, quarterback question. And so I find that fascinating right off the bat. I know, hey, Jalen Hurts, he's a great leader, and can make some plays off schedule, but like we saw in the playoff game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when you can slow down their run game, the passing game is less than as far as NFL standards are concerned. And his ability to throw the ball into tight windows and tight coverage and everything there is less than your good quarterbacks in the league. So I got to see that a little bit. I'm interested to see where that all goes. And then the same with the 49ers. Trey Lance, I know, is crazy talented, huge arm, but not very polished. But, man, their team is good. It's one of the best O-lines in football. They got George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk. The kid that caught the 70-yard touchdown the other game, he can fly. The running backs are good. It's a top 10 defense for sure. So I'm interested just to see how that plays out. That would be one that jumps out to me. The AFC East, the Patriots and the offensive coordinator conundrum. How that goes. Josh McDaniels leaving there is a big deal. Josh McDaniels is one of the best offensive minds in football over the last 15 years. He's right up there with Sean Payton, Andy Reid, Shanahan, whoever you want to put in that list. He's one of the – so that is big. And then the other team in the AFC East that everybody is putting in the Super Bowl, the Buffalo Bills, who, again, I know are going to be good. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in football, in my opinion. But – losing Brian Daboll, I feel like people are just kind of like swiping that under the rug. Like, oh, hey, they're losing one of the best offensive minds in the sport. Doesn't matter. They got Josh Allen. They'll be fine. No, everybody needs a little help. And I'm interested to see how Ken Dorsey can kind of orchestrate that offense a little bit and see where that goes. They definitely have a bullseye on their back. And I'm a little surprised that they're being anointed the king of the AFC so easily. So those are a few that jump out. I got a few other ones too, but you ask me whatever you want. We can talk about whatever you want, big guy.
Yeah, just give me a couple more of your storylines. I'm interested to see your overall perspective of the NFL.
Yeah, sure. I think the second year quarterbacks, who makes the jump there. Yep. I was very excited for Zach Wilson. I'm a big Zach Wilson fan. I just think his talent jumps off the screen to me, and I think they have finally got a team there with some support. And it's unfortunate he got injured. Yep. But, man, Trevor Lawrence, I'm expecting a huge jump from him. They got some weapons around him. I got a chance to see him at the Hall of Fame game a few weeks ago and watch him throw. And one of my things with Trevor Lawrence was, is when he came out in the draft, we know he's talented and he's got big-time potential, but his mechanics were all over the place, Dave. Like a guy where if he threw 10 out routes, he would throw it 7 different ways, out of the 10. And you just go, whoa, okay, hey, it was complete. This one was here. This one was there. This one was there. But that's not going to fly in the NFL. It's got to be there and there and there and there. And then, I missed there. And now he's fixed his mechanics. And you saw that if you watched the preseason game he played last week too. And I watched him in pregame warmups where he had an extensive 100 throws. And I'm telling you, he hit the bullseye 98 out of 100, and the 2 he missed were, just on the edge of the bullseye.
Wow.
So I'm looking for him to make, a huge jump. And then the Trey Lance, Justin Fields thing is interesting to me just because I'm not sold on their ability to throw the football at a consistently high level. And that is big to me. Again, you might be able to, like we talked about the 49ers, you might be able to get to the playoffs and do that. But to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl, that's a little bit different level of execution. And you got to hit the bullseyes more and throw the appropriate pace on the football. And I'm just interested to see where that goes as well. So, those are some ones that jump out to me. And then, I talked about Green Bay and Devontae Adams. I don't see that offense being as explosive. I don't. Who is going to be the go-to guy for him in the passing game? Aaron Rodgers. They're probably going to have to lean on the run game a little bit more. And I think Green Bay's defense will be legit. I mean, it was pretty good last year under Joe Barry. They got Jair Alexander back healthy. He didn't really play much at all last year. He's one of the best corners in the game. The two studs they got from Georgia, I think, are the real deal. The Devontae Wyatt, the defensive tackle, who I really thought was a top 10 pick, but had some off the field issues. The linebacker, Quay Walker, really good. So that's interesting to me. And then the other receiver that was, left, Tyreek Hill. But I find that less interesting. Because I don't really give a damn. Mahomes and that damn offense are going to be great. I don't doubt that one bit. I still think they're going to be one of the best teams in the AFC. And I wouldn't be shocked if we saw, the final four in the AFC being the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Bills, and then I don't know who that other team's going to be, but I wouldn't be shocked if we were back with, something similar to what we saw last year once again.
Very interesting. Telling you. Very interesting. All right, you mentioned a name. The Bengals' next opponent in the preseason, New York Giants. And obviously your dad, Phil, all-time great NFL player, tremendous career with the New York Giants. You guys, I know, follow the Giants as a family. Brian Daboll moves from coordinator with the Buffalo Bills to the New York Giants. And I've already heard all about his ability to reach out and establish relationships with everybody. Like you mentioned, can relate to everybody on the roster. Do you think that Brian Daboll will take Daniel Jones's game to another level?
I do. I mean, Daboll's got a little bit of the quarterback whisperer in him. This will clearly be the best offense Daniel Jones has been in his career to this point, as far as creativity and then also the personnel on the field. This is where I try to tell people and I try to defend Daniel Jones. And again, I understand I'm not totally sold on him either, but there's more attributes that I like than I dislike. And I think that's why the Giants are hanging in there with him too, because they see it too. We talk about the Bengals offensive line. I tell people all the time, listen, like the Giants offensive line wasn't just bad the last 2 years. It wasn't one of the worst. It was the worst. It's not even close. They couldn't do jack diddly squat the last 2 years. They can't open up a hole for Saquon Barkley, and it's hard to play quarterback when you say, set hut, oh gosh, I got a duck. Oh gosh, there's a guy here. I don't give a damn who you are. Unless they got Clark Kent or Superman, I mean, you're in trouble. So I think it's been hard to evaluate him. And one thing I liked in their preseason game one was the offensive line. It was the first time I watched it and went, whoa, they're solid. They weren't physically overwhelmed. And the last 2 years, you just turn on a preseason game and you're like, oh my gosh, it's just the dam collapses every time. So I am expecting an improvement there. I don't know if that translates to playoffs. I don't think I'm going to say that, but I do think Jones will be better and that offense will be better because I do think they have some sneaky weapons if they can just get a little protection and open some holes for Barkley and company.
So on the defensive side of it, Bengal fans know all about Don Wink Martindale going against him. And he'll blitz you in pregame warmups.
No doubt.
He's going to bring one more than you can block. That's just his mindset. And in the first preseason game, it was almost stunning how much he pressured people. I mean, he brought people, and that's just his DNA. That's the way he is. Kayvon Thibodeau, this guy, the Giants, whenever the Giants were great, they had a pass rusher, LT, Strahan. They got a guy that can just kind of disrupt things. Is Thibodeau that kind of guy at first glance, Chris? I know it's very, very early, but what do you think?
Yeah, all right. So there's a few things I want to comment there. You're right about Wink Martindale, and I think it's even become a problem at Giants practice. Sometimes with those blitzing defensive coordinators, it's great. It prepares the offense for blitzes, but they also need to prepare for some other defenses too. Like, what about the team that plays coverage all game? And we need to work on that and all of that.
Right.
And I think they're having that little bit of the conversation in the Giants coaching staff right now where it's like, hey, we got to work against cover 2 a little and 2-man and cover 3. It can't just be, Ravens blitz central. Also, the other thing is it's the new fad in the NFL. That's why you saw a lot of legal contact penalties on the defense. It's send the kitchen sink the first few weeks of preseason to make everybody prepare for all these blitzes in week 1, right? So that's the new thing, let alone I think teams want to go, we want to see our corners and our secondary in some man-to-man tough situations. We know they can play the system a little bit. Let's see what they can just do physically, mano-y-mano. So, I would imagine that you're going to get blitzed a lot this week, certainly. But your answer to Kayvon Thibodeaux, I don't see it. And I'm a Giant fan through and through. I really am. I didn't see it in the draft, and I didn't see it in week 1 in the preseason. There is nothing there that makes me go, oh, that's special. He's not even on the same planet as Trayvon Walker or Aiden Hutchinson. I can tell you that right now. So he plays hard, and I respect that. But I challenge any, Bengals fan or anybody that's listened to Dave Lapham in the trenches, go back and watch the game and tell me what great explosion he has off the ball or at any point where he even stressed a tackle for the Patriots. So we'll see. I'm really hoping I'm wrong, but I didn't see it coming out of college. I didn't see it the other night, and his body scares me. He's got a body that's shoulders wide, and it comes down like this, and Dave, as well as I do. The great pass rushers got a pair of legs and an ass on them that is special, and that's why they can push 320-pound offensive linemen. And that scares me about Kayvon Thibodeaux.
You got to have the hind quarter and the legs. I agree.
You got to, right?
And a guy that does have a hind quarter and the legs is Leonard Williams. I mean, I've been a fan of that guy for a long time. And that dude now, is he still playing at a high level in your eye?
He is. He's the best player on their defense, and versatile too. That's where it is. Now he's not going to be ever like lead the league in sacks, right? He's one of those guys where, hey, we're playing a run team this week. We want you to play defensive end, and you can mess up the run on the edge and be a good pass rusher. Oh, this week it's a pass team. Hey, we're going to put somebody that's maybe a little faster on the edge, but you're going to play inside and now be a handful for some guard because you're too athletic. He can really do it all. He's one of those guys where they don't get enough credit. I called them on my podcast, F up the play guys, where you might look at the stat sheet and go, well, he only had 1 tackle. And I go, yeah, but he ruined like 25 plays. He ruined them. And somebody else got the tackle. Somebody else got the sack. He is a special player, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's no question about it. So in your mind, and again, it's a preseason game number 1, but to go to New England and go toe-to-toe with the Patriots and end up winning a preseason game, that's something to build on, isn't it, for the Giants?
It is. I think, they're building a little culture and getting used to winning and playing, and I think they just looked at least physically tough, and they brought an attitude to the game, like I said, between the offensive line and then, as Wink Martindale, who I'm a fan of, he's going to bring an edge to that defense that they haven't had there in quite some time.
Well, and then the final phase, the kicking game, special teams, the Bengals here. I mean, all about Evan McPherson, like everybody in the league does, and he hits from 58 and 56 in the first. Unbelievable. And Chris, he gets that elevation immediate, and I'm like, oh my gosh, man,
he's amazing.
His leg swing's the same. He's not over swinging. He strikes the ball. It's like he's got a dynamite cap on his big toe and explodes off his foot, man. It's unbelievable. When you have a weapon like that as a quarterback, when you have a weapon like that as a place kicker, like a Tucker with Baltimore and McPherson here with Cincinnati, what does that do to you from a mindset standpoint?
Well, you never feel like you're out of it. And then you go, wait, if we get the ball back with 40 seconds left, we don't got to go that far. And this guy's automatic. That's where it takes pressure off you. You don't got to go, well, we got to get, somewhere by the 20-yard line. Or this guy, he's going to crap down his leg and he's not going to be able to knock it in.
Right.
This guy, it's just like, get in the area code and you got a chance. And he thrives on the moment. And he's one of those guys where I was around, a few good kickers in my day. Martin Gramatica. I'm blanking on their kickers, so I always forget their names. Either way, I'll get to their names in a second.
Yep.
Rob Baronis with Tennessee,
Yep.
R.I.P., who died in a car crash. He was a special kicker. But the ball sounds different when they kick the ball. And I noticed that in pregame warmups in the Super Bowl, where it sounds like the ball's exploding. Let alone, Dave, I don't know if I ever told you this, it's an hour and a half before the game, and special teams guys are starting to come out, and I'm over on the sideline because we're doing the NBC live telecast.
Yep.
And Evan McPherson he comes over and hangs out with me, and he wants to talk ball and talk life. And I was like, I had to double check him a few times. Like, am I talking to the kicker here, or is this just some weird fan that I don't know what the hell? But he was so loose and relaxed, and you can just tell the confidence exudes from him. And to me, that's what I want from a kicker. I want a cocky SOB who thinks he's the man. And that's what Justin Tucker is, Robbie Gould, all the great ones. They're just like, oh, yeah, whatever. You just put the ball down. I'm going to knock it through those 2 yellow sticks. No big deal. And he certainly seems like he's got that right attitude there.
No doubt. And I always enjoy watching special teams in the preseason, because that's where, feathers are going to fly, man, because guys are trying to impress the special teams coach to make those final roster spots, man. Feathers, fur, whatever it is, it's going to fly. There's effort on those special teams. I enjoy that part of the preseason.
I do too. There's always that, Johnny Tryhard guy who, we know that really the roster for the most part, it's a 53-man roster. I would say most teams kind of know the 45 guys that are going to make their team. And then it's who are those extra 8 guys that are going to impress during training camp and carve out a spot for themselves. And, I do want to give love to one guy that really popped to me when I watched the game the other night for you guys. Damn, that's Zachary Carter from Florida. Yes. I don't know what he's been doing in training camp, but damn, I know the Cardinals couldn't block him the other night. And damn, does he look good just as in his uniform. And you talk about legs and ass and all that. I would have a hard time thinking he doesn't help out that defensive line a little bit this year.
Couldn't agree with you more. I mean, he's had a great camp, very consistent too. It's not like, his high bar is extremely high, his low bar is very, very low. His bar is pretty high, and it's always there. He's one of those kind of guys. Well, Chris, as always, I always look forward to catching up with you, and you always drop a bunch of good pearls, man. Some good nuggets of wisdom from Chris Sims with respect to football is always a lot of fun, and certainly do appreciate your work. I love watching you on NBC and listening to your work and all your other your podcasts and everything else that you do. You're very talented, and appreciate your time, my man.
Thanks, Dave. Always good talking ball with you. I really do enjoy it. Respect you a lot, and thanks for having me. Go Bengals. I'm working on it. I get a lot of crap from the Cincinnati fans because I'm from Jersey and I say Bengals. I got to get Bengals in there. I'm sorry. I'm a dumb blonde from New Jersey and I got the Jersey accent. It's hard, okay? It's hard. So I'm working on it. But don't get too mad at me, Cincinnati fans.
You're the man, Chris Sims. Appreciate you as always. Have a great day, man.
See you, buddy.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team. Opportunity knocking.